And we're the three best friends that anyone could have. We're the three best friends that anyone could have. We're the three best friends that anyone could have. And we'll never, ever, 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 ever leave each other. Welcome to the third edition of
If that wasn't going to
Brainstormers.
happen, I was going to be disappointed as hell. I'm just saying.
Today we have an amazing special guest. This is Bree. She goes by SoCal Epilepsy. Many of you will likely know her from her social media platforms. Does an amazing job with countless posts, memes, just pretty much everything.
The memes.
Yeah, always crack me up. So, but just so huge and such a catalyst in the epilepsy community. And again, thank you so much for joining us. So,
well, thank you for inviting me.
So it looks like you're a Bruins fan, huh?
Oh, just a little bit. Yeah. I think you guys might know that though.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a Bruins fan, a Habs fan, and a Leafs fan. It's kind of
let's go.
We don't kill each other.
Yeah. I love
we talk crap, but we don't kill each other.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to ask you first was, because I was chatting with Alec a little bit and I was thinking about it too, and I'm like, I don't even remember like the specific moment where I came across your page, but I don't think I've ever actually asked you like how you got into it.
Well, I guess it kind of started because I was really, really depressed when I was going through brain surgery and just kind of needed something to let it out on. And my neuropsychiatrist, which we can get into in a little bit if you want to, he was like, why don't you make a social media page? And my mom had been pushing me to do that for, I don't know, a long time because she could tell I was just in a horrible mood. And I was like, I don't think that'll work. Like, who cares? Because I'd post a little bit. I was like, I posted on my own page and everybody's just kind of like, okay. And, like they just read it and don't know what to say. And then I brought it up to my neuropsychiatrist and he was like, no, seriously. He was like, I see so many epilepsy patients who are just depressed and upset and just want to let it out, but they feel the same way. Like nobody cares because they don't get it. Like, people say you don't get it until you have it, you don't get it until you get it. So it's like, I started doing that and I was just, before that, I was looking for other pages and I think I'm friends with some of these pages, so no offense guys, but they were too positive for me at that time. I was just like, I'm not happy. I'm not in that, everything is great beside your epilepsy mood. I was in that, I want to effing end my life right now. I'm so irritated. Like I'm depressed. And so I started letting that out and it was just kind of grew. And I was just kind of like, where do all these people come from? And then once I got out of my depressive state, I guess you could say, I was just kind of like, well, this is kind of fun. And I was supposed to be a teacher or professor before, my epilepsy took over. So I'm like, maybe I'll just teach people this way. And I'm a smart ass. I always have been. And the way that I've dealt with my tough times is to just make fun of it. And that's just what I do with my memes. I'm just like, well, you know what? I might have peed the bed this morning, but oh well, and so it's like, I'm going to laugh about it because what else am I going to do about it? Cry about it. And we go through enough. So
right. 100%.
Kind of went and then people started relating and I'm like, well, maybe there's something going here. I guess I should keep going. So
yes. And you've done so much for like so many people. Like you have an amazing following. Everybody relates to you and it's like everything you make is like so relatable to so many of us. So it's like we're all in it together.
I love it too because the way that you approach it is like you do have some uplifting things, you have some hilarious things, but you also do not sugarcoat the shit that epilepsy does have. And unfortunately, there are a lot of pages or a lot of people that try to, as you mentioned, try to make everything positive about it, and at the end of the day, epilepsy it sucks at the best of times.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
do love how straightforward and blunt you can be with the entire diagnosis and everything that kind of comes along with it. So
Well, thank you. I think
Mm-hmm.
I try to be as much as I can, because when I was getting my diagnosis, it took 10 years to figure out everything that was going on up here. And then when they figured it out 9 months later, they're like, well, you're gonna need brain surgery. I was like, oh, okay. And then I'm looking for all those pages that are relating to me, and then they're not there. And I'm like,
yeah,
well, I don't want anybody else to go through this ever again, because it is
Mm-hmm.
so exhausting and depressing to look for help when you can't find it and you're already at your bottom, I guess you can
Right.
say.
yeah,
Yeah.
And people might not like it, but it's like, I'm not gonna lie to you. Some people are like, "Why are you posting about SUDEP?" I'm like, "Because it happens. Like, I'm sorry."
Yeah,
it's a
it
thing.
does. Yeah. Especially over the last couple days when we're trying to raise awareness about it right now, and
Yeah,
like make people so alert right now. Like everyone's just kind of like, oh, but it's like it has to be talked about.
I didn't know what it was until, maybe 4 years ago, and that scares the crap out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know. And then, like, I had, this uncontrolled amount of seizures. I needed brain surgery, and they never told me what SUDEP was until I got to UCLA. I'm like,
it,
whoa.
SUDEP is it's so strange that more people don't talk about it, and it really wasn't until in my opinion, into the last few years. Obviously, when we tragically lost Cameron Boyce, and there's
Hmm.
been other very, very notable people that have lost their lives to SUDEP. But like even when I think I was about 19 or 20, and it was with a past neurologist that I had, and I asked her because I randomly came across SUDEP, and this is 15 years ago, and I was like, "What the heck is this?" And I asked her about it, and she was just like, "Oh, don't worry about that. Probably won't happen." And I was just like, uh, "W-
Oh my gosh.
"Well, I kind of want to know about it because,
Yeah.
like, hopefully, I can take preventative measures to like
I've had
whatever." So
people
Exactly.
I've had people
Exactly.
tell me that their doctors have told them the exact same thing, like, "Oh, you can't die from this." I'm like, "Are you
mm,
sure?"
yeah,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm
yeah,
like, "Would you like articles, unfortunately? Like, are you sure?"
yeah,
And that's another thing. I hate misinformation about what I'm going through. And so
Yeah.
I guess like my family's always said, if you want it done right, do it yourself. So I'm like, you know what? I'm sick of these pages lying. I'm just gonna be like, no, this is what it is. Like, you
yeah,
need to stop
Mm-hmm.
bullshitting people.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So,
so no, go ahead. Sorry, go
oh,
ahead.
well, I was just gonna say, like, getting back to what you were saying, Brie, about how you were supposed to like go into the educational field as your like career.
Hmm.
Mhm.
How is like I don't know, how is what am I trying to say? Like, how was that feeling being able not to do that? Do you remember going through a part of your diagnosis being like, I can't do this because of my epilepsy?
It was kind of like one of those things I had to work with, again, my neuropsychiatrist. He's helped me through so much. He's probably gonna come up a ton, and he probably should just pay me instead of me paying him. But, like, I'm just kidding. But, like, um, he was basically telling me, he's like, "Well, you might not be able to do it now, like, the way you intended." He's like, "But try to do it in a different way." And that's kinda how it was for me, because I was bummed. I wanted to do, English, and I wanted to do music, because that was what,
So
like,
fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I still love it. And it's like, if you see all my posts, they're, pretty much grammatically always correct. I don't use slang in there. So yeah, that's what I grew up doing. But then I found out I couldn't, and I have 2 master's degrees to teach. And I'm like, well, did I just waste my time doing that?
Yeah. Yeah.
And money,
Yeah.
especially. But I think it's kind of come into play in my page now. I just kind of put it into
Yeah,
that.
totally. Yeah.
So that's more fun.
100%. I
It's
love
it's
that.
more fun. I don't like, I can kick someone off my page, I can't really kick someone out of my class,
that's
you know?
that's true.
True.
So
That's the best.
I love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
that's awesome.
so
Quote of the evening.
Yeah.
it's a bummer to kinda get kicked in the nuts, I guess you can say. when you can't do what you want to do. And there's a lot of people that have told me like their dreams have been kind of stripped away, but I guess you just gotta refocus them and kind of think of what you wanted to do and how you can do it with your epilepsy in a different way.
Definitely.
Now, I know, just before we started the interview, I don't know, was it your cat or your dog that's, probably I'm assuming your dog's at the foot of your bed right now?
She is right under my desk.
Yeah, okay. So, this is something that we haven't actually talked about on, the podcast, as of yet. Hopefully, we're gonna get into it at some point. Um, I don't think your dog is, like, epilepsy certified as is like a seizure first aid dog or anything?
She is not like officially certified, so
Right.
I mean, I could take her somewhere because everybody, bullshits that and takes their dogs
Yeah,
everywhere, but like,
she
yeah,
reacts to you, right?
but
Like, she's
yes,
uh,
she goes to get help. She goes to get
yes,
my mom, my sister.
yes.
She'll whine, she'll bark. She knows what to do. She's just not something I take with me. I don't leave the house very much anyway, but
The
you
reason I
know,
bring it up is 'cause, like, we have our family dog, and she's a little over 10, and every single time I've ever talked to you and you're explaining what she does when you're kind of in postictal state or what's going on, your dog is so active trying to do whatever, and my dog is kind of the same sort of thing and just reacts very, very similar. Like, it's almost like she was supposed to be a seizure first aid dog, but just is too much of a goofball to actually
mine is too
follow
food.
course. So, yeah, there you go. Yeah. So,
Mine would get distracted by the treat down the hallway, like, or like in the place we went to go eat type of thing. Like, I'm sure I could get her to get trained, but like, she does enough for me. She does,
that's so cool, though.
she'll lay in bed with
Yeah,
me all day if I take a nap, and she gets along with my cat. She doesn't really,
I love that. And
she's a
even
great dog.
seeing those videos on Instagram of like the seizure alert dogs that I've been seeing is absolutely incredible. Like that's just
Forget what
I
kind of dog, the one that was on top of the fridge.
yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
super,
did you see
super
that,
cool.
Alec?
Yeah, I actually messaged her. I
Yeah.
was talking to her briefly, and like the whole thing, it was actually sent to me by my GP, and I hadn't seen it at this point, and she was like, "You got to check this out." And then I shared it, and I was just like, "This is the coolest thing I've never like." And it was jumping down off the fridge, and like it was
Yeah,
just such like
yeah,
a. It is just so
Going to get
neat to
specific
see.
medicine.
Like it's so
yeah,
cool to see a dog react that way. Like they
yeah.
truly are incredible. So
And
And like,
whether they're not
I love
certified either though, like if they're not certified, they're still doing what you guys need, like what you need. Like
yes,
it's
yeah.
like they're still there, gives you like such a better appreciation of them. Like I love dogs. I want a dog now.
Gonna have to
I
peer
need to be in
pressure
a dog
Mario.
club. I know. I need a dog. It's happening.
Yeah.
I really honestly wish that shelters, because they're so overrun with dogs, would just give them to people that need them in disability
Yes. Yes.
situations. Because a lot of people can't afford it. I adopted her from like around the corner. Like I didn't even get her like, and she was the last one. And like we were supposed to have a pick of the litter. We got there and we got her, and I'm like, all right, well we'll take her. Like she's adorable, but
Oh,
it's just she's German Shepherd and Lab, and I've seen even like Chihuahuas be able to do seizure stuff. So it's like it doesn't matter
Yeah.
the breed of your dog.
yeah,
No. No.
yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah.
What kind is your dog, Alec?
She's a boxer. She's just
Oh, okay.
like basically she's more mature than I am, but which is not saying much. So it's like, yeah, she's just a goofball. And that would be her Achilles heel right there is she would never get certified because she just wants to play. Um,
Aw.
but whenever I am coming out of a seizure, I'll kind of when I sort of come to, I'll kind of just look around, usually confused, but 10 or 15 feet away, she'll just be sitting there looking at me and she knows kind of what's going on. She'll kind of linger around if I'm having like an off day. It's almost like she kind of senses things well before I even do, which is usually it's kind of almost like well, it's a nice trait because I usually at those days try to make it a point to be on the couch or in bed or as much as I can with obviously the girls going crazy around the house. But yeah, so
I
but
guess
yeah,
Totally.
there's I read an article where dogs can sense it up to an hour or two before they happen.
that's insane. Like I don't even
Yeah,
understand how
that's
that's
crazy.
possible, but
Yeah, it's like
That's unbelievable.
they smell something.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
like
um,
totally.
so another thing I know that, and you've talked about it Bree, numerous times, done posts about it, and I think it's so cool. And I think more and more people really should look into investing into them because I know they are expensive and it's not in everyone's budget. But you have posted numerous times about your anti-suffocation pillow.
Yes.
And I think that is so important for people who are trying to, especially people who suffer from uncontrolled seizures or nocturnal seizures, anything like that. I honestly, I wasn't even aware of them until you started
Yeah, me
posting
too.
about it. I
Yeah,
thought it was the
same.
coolest thing. So,
Yes.
and so how
I
long?
actually met my friend through this page, and she was going through brain surgery like the same time that I
Yep,
Oh,
was.
wow.
And she had to get the DBS, that's
yep.
even more brutal than what I have. And she was telling me about them. She's like, "Do you have an anti-suffocation pill?" I was like, "A what?" And she's like, "Oh, my dad bought me two." She's like, "I don't need one. I'll send you one." I was like, "Okay." Then she just sent it to me, and I was like, "What is this for?" But like, I'd never heard of them either. And it's like you'd think again, your doctors would tell you about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Seriously.
I think I looked them
And
up after, and they can be again a few
it can be
several hundred
pricey for a
dollars,
pillow.
but
Yeah,
I mean, ultimately, it's
You're paying for what it's for, not what it is.
exactly.
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 Yeah,
So
yeah.
and people always ask me if you can put, a pillowcase on it, and it's like, you can breathe through a pillowcase. You can do that,
Yes.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
not the issue.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The mattress is the issue. So,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you find it comfortable though? Like, do you find a big difference between that and just like a standard pillow?
when I first before I got it, I used to use 2 pillows, funny enough,
Mhm.
and now sometimes I don't even use anything but it, and it's kind of flat, and it's kinda so
Mhm.
now it's just I'm so used to it. I bring it
Yeah.
on vacation with me, I bring it when I go anywhere to anybody's house,
Nice.
Yeah.
you know, and for those that are like, "Well, what about on a plane?" It is a medical device, so you can bring it with you as a carry-on.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah,
never knew that.
100%.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Mhm. It's like because I was kind of worried about that when I was going to, the Caribbean with my best friend on a cruise. I was like, "Oh, we're going to a different country, you gotta go through customs all the time,
Yeah,
I don't
Yeah.
yeah.
wanna get involved." And they're like, "It's a medical device, you're fine." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
Whew, I was like, "'Cause I
Nice.
know going to the Caribbean with a random pillow looks
Yeah.
kinda sketchy,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
but
Everyone's like, "What? This girl's just
but you
bringing
This
her
gotta
girl's
pillow on
bringing
the
her
plane."
pillow, like, we
all
have
them
them here,
things.
like
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. No.
Oh, that's funny.
So
that's
I
so
Okay,
good.
so another question we wanted to ask you was, so obviously you approach epilepsy in all different types of ways, like humor, vulnerability, like just so much that you spread awareness about, that it's all so important. But like, how would you describe your approach into raising the awareness that you do on SoCal epilepsy?
I guess it's kind of a lot of people, like, will, like, joke and say, "Well, stop calling me out," like, on memes and posts and stuff. It's a
Hmm.
lot of it is through, like, what I've gone through and, like, experience and stuff,
Yeah.
and I just kinda turn it into a post. And,
Hmm.
like, so when people are like, when I talk about the depression stuff, I was there. The anxiety, I was there. The
Yeah.
suicidal thoughts, I was there, it's a lot of it, if I don't know, I'll have someone else talk about it
Mhm.
because I'm like, I don't know firsthand it or I'll share someone else's because it's their perspective of it, but it's just and a lot of the positive things I post, I feel like they're not too overly positive to where you wanna, yourself because they're
Mhm.
obnoxious.
Mhm.
So
Hmm.
that's like I try to find the balance of, like I guess it's my personality with it. but it's like not my full personality because a lot of people can't handle what I watch for all the time, you know? It's like, no, you guys are, but
Oh
so
man.
yeah,
Oh man.
there are many
But like
questioning
humor,
when.
humor's like a big thing though too, I noticed, because it's like I feel like I never coped with it that way. And like
Yes.
finding accounts like that, like you, it's like it just makes a huge difference in how you approach it and
100%.
how you handle the situation. Like you can be sad and mad about it, which is it's completely normal and you should,
Hmm.
but you can also just like try and laugh about it in the end, I guess, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, I mean, you and I have both broken teeth from
Yeah,
this, you
yeah.
know? Like,
Exactly.
these 5 are fake for me, but
Mhm.
it's like, I cried about that, you know, when it happened, but later on, I'm gonna look back and be like, "Oh, look, I, like, have, like, buck teeth
Exactly.
and stuff," and, like, not everybody can do that, but it's like, I feel like if you don't, it's just gonna weigh on you even more. You just have to
Yeah.
Exactly,
come
exactly.
out.
So bringing humor into it, I think, it's just such a refreshing approach to have.
Mhm.
And honestly, well, Vanessa, you just said it. It's just so nice to actually have that, because
Yes.
there really is just like for me, like obviously, I try to be as positive with myself as I can, but like I'm gonna have shit days. Like it happens
Mm. Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Like it's not every single day, regardless of if you have epilepsy or not. People have shit days. That's just life.
Yeah.
So to
Yeah.
see like to add some humor into it, which is like right into my wheelhouse anyways. Like
Yes.
so like I'm always just kind of like constantly going to your page because it's just
I
everything
have a
Yes,
I
lot to
relate
100%.
say, I
to.
stand behind.
And plus like 90% of it is friends related. So it's just like
Yes.
which we all three have in common. So
Yeah.
Yes, love
yeah.
it.
Actually, today's the friends one, I just haven't posted it yet, that's funny.
I'm sure one of
Oh,
us will quote something from Friends during this episode right now.
I'm
yeah,
sure
probably.
if you figure it out, you get extra points for it, like the hidden unicorns or
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we'll do that in all of our episodes, we'll hide one in there and see if you realize the reference.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Yeah.
You know what I just thought of?
And we'll
Like
wear our jerseys.
all the all
Yeah.
the all the positivity. Do you remember the episode where Chandler's trying to figure out how to cry? So he's reading Chicken Soup for the Soul, and he like throws it underneath his couch and it just slides
Yeah.
to the front.
See, that's what
Oh
we had
man.
growing up, we didn't
Yeah.
have social media. That's
Oh
the
my
Oh
crap we
god.
my
had growing
god.
up.
Yeah, seriously.
Okay, so we were touching base obviously on your pillow, your anti-suffocation pillow. Is there anything else that you any like precautionary measures that you take at home? I think we've talked previously and you've posted about like being in the bathroom, locked door, like that kind of stuff.
Mhm. Mhm.
If nobody's home, which I really don't like to shower when nobody's home, but if, you know, sometimes you have to,
Hmm.
I will text everybody and let them know that I got in, that I got out type of thing. If they are home, like, I don't have locked doors on my bathroom anymore at this point. It's
Mhm.
it's too dangerous. I had a seizure in the bathroom one time, and it was scary. I was lucky with how I fell, but my brother was able to get in there because I didn't lock the door. So,
Mhm.
that's a huge thing. Another thing I do is, my bed is pushed all the way up against my wall, because I have nocturnal seizures, and I sleep
Yeah,
on the side closest to the wall, so I don't roll out of bed and
there you go.
Mhm.
snap.
Yeah, I think that honestly, like locks again, like for your doors is just kind of like well, especially like in the bathroom. It really is almost like a no-brainer to just if you don't need them, there really is no point. Obviously,
Yeah.
people can argue the whole point of privacy, and I absolutely understand that. But when you factor in safety, like again, same as you, Brie, like I've had a seizure in the shower as well too, and I mean, luckily I wasn't home alone, and there was no
Mhm.
lock on the door, so um those things can be like privacy just is like, what do you kind of weigh in here? Privacy or your safety? Like, it's
Yeah.
just
Your life, essentially.
exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather someone come in, I don't care who it is, take me out of the shower and
Yes.
just suffer the embarrassment. But like,
Yeah.
whatever.
I mean,
Yeah.
it was kind of awful to find out it was my little brother who got to, you know, wrap me in a towel after having a shower naked, you know, but
Yeah.
it's like, he's my little brother. Oh well, you know, and then it
Mhm.
was like, we know about Demarius Thomas, and if you don't, he had a seizure in the shower and snapped his neck and died.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because he was alone, he was telling
Yeah.
people he could shower by himself, and
Wow.
clearly not, sadly, as that it is, because he was like, I don't even know, barely 40. I think he was a like newly retired football player.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
It is one of those things too, and I'm sure like both of you or almost anyone who's listening to this can also attest to it. When if you have epilepsy and you are in the shower, if you drop a bar of soap, if you drop shit, people will sprint into that
Yeah.
bathroom. Like,
Yeah.
it
Yeah,
is
well,
like it
Every
is.
time
Yeah.
something happens, I'm just like, I'm
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. Yeah.
oh,
I'm fine.
yeah, and it's
Just the
for me,
shampoo.
it's not even
Yeah, yeah.
bathroom. For me, it's any
Yeah.
big noise, and like anybody's like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that was good." Or my dog is just clumsy and knocks things over all over the time, and then like, it's just, people are like, "Is that you?" I'm like, "What?" "Oh no, I didn't hear that." "No,
Yeah,
no."
yeah.
"Oh my God, God, it was you." I'm like, no. Uh, I appreciate it though because they know what to look for and like listen for because I have had seizures where I've hit the floor and that's how I broke my teeth.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
Yeah.
you know, they know what to look for. But do I want to have to yell at, no, I'm good when I just drop shit all the time? I just drop
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Not really, but so
I can attest to being in the chipped teeth club.
yeah. It's
I saw your post. Was it today or was it yesterday?
It
Like
was
you
today,
reached it.
and it's oops. And I kind of almost wanted to. I have a collage of that picture, and then I have like the picture beside it is Floyd Christmas from Dumb and
Yes.
Dumber.
Yes.
I have it. It was like the frame of when Jim Carrey's like out the window pretending he's in like the backseat of the limo at like the beginning of the movie, and he's like,
I feel like every single
I'm
time
doing
you've every single time you've ever reshared that picture of you, I'll like send you a text of Lloyd Christmas, and I'm like I feel
like the
mean,
gift.
but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like
No,
it's also
no,
you
it's just
gotta
one of those
laugh.
things where you laugh about it. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly. You just laugh about it. But I remember I was just so upset too. I was just like, oh and Meryl and I were supposed to get our engagement pictures like 2 days
no.
no,
2 days after. Yes.
Oh no.
Like a couple days after, I'm like, cool, but thank God I got in to see a dentist. Like that
you
was
should have
hard.
left it. You should have just left it for them.
This is true love right here. He puts up
Yeah,
with this.
yeah.
Yeah.
Could you imagine? That would be hilarious.
I know. Oh my
Oh
God.
man.
Oh, that was funny. Yeah, good times.
It's like when you see other people post when they crack their face up, but it's not like it's oh yay, but it's like oh I'm not the only one who cracked my face
Yes.
open.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. Even the seizure triggers too, like it's just there's so much like that we can talk about with you as well. And like for me, and I think I can say this for Alec too, it's like stress, anxiety, dehydration, lack of sleep. Like
Sleep.
there's just
Yeah.
so much.
Alcohol.
Yes, sleep, alcohol. Yes, like there's so many that I'm sure you can attest to as well. But is there anything else that is like a seizure trigger for you?
Well, unfortunately, coffee is, which really sucks, and
So
it's
you have
Right.
both. Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can have tea, I can have chocolate that has a little bit of caffeine in it. I don't like energy drinks, so I'm not even gonna F with that.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I can have pop, as you guys call it, or soda.
Pop.
What do you call it?
I just call it soda.
Yeah, so that sounds so weird to me.
Yeah,
Like I'd
I
never
never,
go into a grocery store and like look for some soda. Like
Yeah, I
I've
was
never gotten to look for
texting.
some pop.
I
I
should
was
say,
messaging Brie being like, wait, what kind of soda do you drink? Because I'm like, if I say pop, she's gonna think I'm just like Canadian. But then I was like, I want to see how it turns out, and it was just so being weird, being like, what kind of soda do you drink? I'm like, that sounds so weird. It's what
I
kind of
But
pop do you drink?
it's like you guys are the Midwest of America because they say
yeah,
that over there too.
I so
I think
badly want to send you a picture of our bagged milk that we have in our fridge.
I
Like
keep
it's,
hearing about this.
do you still have it out in BC, or is it because is that
I
is
don't
it
know.
more cartons?
No, we still have bags. Yeah, we
Is it
use
okay?
cartons, but there's bags.
Because
Yeah.
it's like it's almost like some provinces have like they're just like, wait, no, we're not going to screw around with bagged milk anymore. Like,
I'll
yeah,
actually have to check though, to be honest. I can't say with confidence because we just
We
buy.
we had bagged milk when I was in elementary school, and you can imagine how well that went. Little kids would
yeah.
like we've never seen it since that though.
Oh yeah, up
Oh
north,
man.
especially in Ontario, we haven't graduated that, so we're still there.
You haven't graduated yet.
To bring it back onto it, onto the topic here, I know again, like Vanessa and I know you both. We know you very well personally, but obviously some listeners might not know. As far as just like your initial story, your diagnosis, like, do you remember like how that all kind of like transpired for you? Like, obviously, like your age and just your emotions going into it. Like, do you want to break that down to us a little bit, or?
Yeah. I think I was around like 17, 18, maybe 19 at the most. And then one day I could still drive. I was able to drive for 9 months. It was the weirdest thing looking back on it that I know how to drive.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But I was getting ready to take my little brother and sister to high school. And then all of a sudden, like, I just had, I guess, an absence seizure and fell on the ground. And my little
Mhm.
brother wanted to be like, I love him to death, but he was that person that, like, would try to diagnose everybody, because he wanted to go to
Mhm.
medical school. And I hate to say it, he was correct that it was a seizure. So he was
Mhm.
100% correct. And it was, and he told my mom, he called her, he's like, I think Bree's having seizures. I think, and my mom was like, no, she just kind of does this thing where she zones out. And my brother's like, yeah, that's a seizure.
Mhm.
And he was like 15, I think 14, 15 at the time, like knowing this. And I'm like, I didn't know that either. I'm sitting there going like, no, I was like, I'm fine. I go to concerts. I'd like, I've never had a seizure. I don't have any of those, thinking also I've never done
Yeah.
drugs, at that
Mhm.
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
I'm like, no. And then all of a sudden it just kept happening. And then I lost my bladder. And that was the initial, I was like, okay, what is going
Mhm.
on? So
Mhm.
then I got to my neurologist, my first one, and he thought I was having migraines and stress induced seizures, and that's it. And like it was just about 10 years of switching off meds to control this one type of temporal lobe epilepsy they thought that I had,
Okay.
like over and over. And it was, I think I started on Topamax, and then I went to what's the other one? Triliptol, and then I
Yep.
went to
Yep.
Keppra, and Keppra and
Mhm.
me.
Oh man.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
Been there.
There's a hole in my door from Keppra. Like
Yeah.
seriously, I kicked a hole in my door from my Keppra rage. But I didn't know it was Keppra rage at that time. I thought, I was like, this is just part of epilepsy, clearly. Like
Yeah.
that's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then one day my neurologist looked at me and he was like, you know what? I don't know what to do for you anymore. And I'm sitting there, I'm going, what do you mean you don't know what to do for me anymore? And he was like, I think you need to go to an epilepsy specialist, somebody that knows what to do for you. I'm going to send you to where I went to school. I'm going to send you to UCLA, and that's
Mhm.
where you're going to go. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, what the hell? What are we doing here? Like I'd been
Mhm.
with them
Mhm.
for 10 years. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I get there, and within 9 months, my first epileptologist, who is in New York now, unfortunately, um, he ran a bunch of tests. He basically took me back to square one. I had to do the video EEG and the EMU and everything like that, which not fun, the MRIs, and he is like, I think you're drug resistant. And I was like, I'm what? Like, I don't even know what that means.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And he was like, yeah, he's like, we're gonna test this a little bit further, but I'm pretty sure you have more types of seizures than that. We're gonna have to run some more tests. And then he started seeing more and more. And like I have almost 7 types of seizures, I think. And they thought initially I had 1. So
Wow. Wow.
yeah. So going to UCLA was like a game changer for me, honestly. But it came with, you're drug resistant, this is your proper diagnosis, but you need brain surgery. And my proper diagnosis is like this long. I can read it off for you, but it's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So when you actually got your first diagnosis, like you have epilepsy, like did you know much about it? Did you know anyone who had seizures? Like, was it like just, were you totally in the dark about it?
I was completely in the dark, and like, I mean, there are some kids who, I grew up basically a metalhead, so I grew up with some idiots that OD'd and had seizures, so I knew that's what a seizure was.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't know it could just happen. And I
Mm-hmm.
didn't know there were so many types of them, and I didn't know that, like why I had this. But we still don't know why I have it. I'm idiopathic. They have no idea.
Yeah, same.
But it's just like,
Yeah.
I was just like, so what does that mean? And then my neurologist also kind of thought I had borderline personality disorder, I guess, which I don't have. But they thought I had that because that can, kind of do the PNES type of seizures, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so we went through that whole thing, but for the longest time I was just so confused. I'm like, what do you mean I have this? Like I go to, I just went and saw Slayer last week and there were strobes there. There's no way I have
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
And it's like it was so confusing, but then I also didn't think to what was I saying? Oh, I was just really confused and kind of almost angry. Like I'm like, you're lying to me about this. There's no way that I'm getting, I'm getting this diagnosis right now. Like there's absolutely no freaking way that this is
Yeah.
like you're wrong. I was like, I can see migraines. My dad has migraines.
Yeah.
So like, okay, like I understand, but after that I was like, maybe I should look into this. And like I still couldn't find anything because most of the info out there is, photosensitive epilepsy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or it's about convulsive seizures. And I have those every once in a while. But most of mine are like partials or twitching, or like my face will move a little.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just like, no, like this can't be. But then when I started to look into it more, like social media really was a huge tool for me
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
I was like, Google is just so outdated. Let's just put it that
It's
way.
it's true. Yeah.
It's just so outdated. So it's like I'm looking for people that are like, oh, okay, this is what's going on. I was like, so that you can have them without having to move, I guess you can say. And I was like, and really only that many people are photosensitive? I was like,
Yeah.
okay. So that makes sense.
A lot
Yeah.
rarer than we actually think. So, or than people are made to believe. So, like
Yeah,
speaking
100%.
speaking of photosensitivity, though, that was another thing that I absolutely love that you do
Yes.
very frequently on your page, is you post about new content, new movies, shows, episodes of whatever that may trigger potential seizures in someone who is photosensitive. And I think the biggest thing, and hopefully this will become a lot more of a trend now, where Netflix, Amazon Prime, everyone kind of gets on board, and it's just a staple to always include strobe warnings, but they
Yes.
still don't happen all the time. And when
No,
they
they
do, a
don't.
lot of
They're
them
just
go
small.
unnoticed.
Yeah.
Very small and in the corner almost. It's like this big that you can see it and it goes away. And
Yes.
it's like, I'm
Yeah.
like, you get a longer warning if they're gonna talk about something brutal in a murder documentary. I'm just
Well,
saying.
you and I, we were talking about the Jeffrey Dahmer docuseries when it was when it first came into Netflix, and I think you gave me a heads up. I'm not photosensitive, but you even said like there's one episode that's like it's nuts. Like there's a lot of like
It's
strobe
annoying.
lights going on. Yeah, yeah. So
Yes.
again, I don't think I've ever said that to you, but I really do appreciate you doing that because that
Mhm.
probably has helped hundreds, if not thousands of people to maybe like, okay, you know what? This episode or this movie or this part of this episode or this part of this movie is maybe something I should avoid. So,
Mhm.
And
Like,
there's
just
a
be
there's a
alert about it too. Like, yeah, be
mhm.
there's a new
alert.
page now that has it's not me that does it. It's like strobe alert. I can't think of
Yes,
epilepsy
I think it's
brain.
something like that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but that's all they do. They just watch movies and like break it down for people. And I'm like, I don't have that patience. Like I barely pay attention to the damn movie anyway.
yeah,
But like I watched the new Wonka film and I'm like, "Oh, this is annoying." Like you could see like a lot of
yeah.
like flickering in the background and I didn't really like it anyway. Sorry guys. But like
I wasn't a
uh
fan.
I
You saw
was
it? Oh, I haven't seen it.
Yeah, well, I'm not a huge fan of like musicals in general, so
Right.
like
not even
kind of
Sweeney Todd.
what? Okay. You know what? That's probably one of my only exceptions. No, and then also I guess like Rocky Horror. So
Mhm.
yeah, I was waiting for you to chime in on that one. So yeah,
I do love musicals though, but it's just like
yeah,
it wasn't it didn't live up to my musical standards, let's put it that way. It's just
yeah,
kinda like, sorry,
yeah.
'cause I know everybody loves Timothy, whatever, however you say his I'm not
I
10 out of 10.
yeah, I didn't even know. Like when they announced it, I
No,
was like, I don't know who this is. Like I don't.
no, and it's I don't know, 'cause it just I had so many people when I started my page telling me that they would have seizures because also idiots would, send them flashing stuff and
Oh man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just
it's
comes in your
awful.
inbox out of nowhere
Yep.
and you're like, "Thanks." Like,
Yep.
cool.
Thanks, bro. Yeah,
Just
like, "Are you that bored?
ridiculous.
Are you that bored today?" Like,
Yeah, yeah,
I know.
exactly, exactly.
and it's like, I would have people just, like mostly teenagers, it seemed like,
Yeah.
upset that they were getting bullied or, like, they couldn't watch their show because they didn't have a warning, and
Hmm.
Yeah,
I'm like, "That takes no time." I'm like, "Here's your post for the day. There's the warning." Like, I don't have to do anything else today now.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So when getting back to, like, when you were first diagnosed and, like, going through that whole process about, like, changing, like, doctors, like, after 10 years and going to UCLA and getting all this, like, life-changing information that you had no idea what was going on, how, like, were you able and open to talk about it with your friends, or were you still in, like, your family, or were you still kinda, like, trying to not to, like, accept the fact? Like, I know you know that you were that something was wrong, but was it easy to come out and talk to your friends and, like, family about when you were being diagnosed?
It really wasn't, as weird as that sounds. I know a lot of people are probably like, "You're really open right now," but, like, now I am, but this diagnosis helped me get there
Hmm.
because
Mhm.
for the longest time, I would just hold everything inside. I would just be like, and if like anytime someone would say something, I'd be like, "I'm fine," and they're like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm good." Like even though like they could tell I wasn't, but
Yeah.
I was just so over it. And a lot of my friends that I don't have now that we just kind of split think kind of thankfully, they didn't know how to deal with my epilepsy because they were just kind
Mhm.
of like, "Well, can't you drive? Can't I just drove last time?" I'm like, "No, I can't. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have to come pick me up or
Hmm.
I'm gonna need to go home early or something like that." And they would just be
Mhm.
like, "Well, that's not how you were." I'm like, "Well, I didn't have epilepsy before," but they
Yeah.
Hmm.
didn't connect the
Yeah.
2. And so I just kinda bottled it up, and then when I got to UCLA, my epileptologist was like, "I need you to go see this neuropsychiatrist," and I'm like, "Why?"
Mhm.
'Cause he's like, "I can just" he's like, "I'm not trying to, be mean to you." He's like, "I can just tell." And I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to, because I'm so sick of the whole like, well, if you're upset, then feel better. I'm like, well, thank you so much,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
and I'm like, and he's like, he's not like that. I'm like, okay. I was like, well, you know what? You've been correct about everything else so far. I'll take your word on this one.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I met him, and he is, I don't know, I don't know, I didn't even wanna know about that, but he's a very flamboyant guy. He's
Mhm.
hilarious, and,
Mm.
like, as you can see, he was the one that gave me the, epilepsy is dancing video. Like, I learned
Oh,
about
yeah,
that
yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
like, I learned he's like, "Have you ever seen this?" I was like, "No," but,
Yeah.
like, it's like talking to, like, my best friend sometimes with him. I can unload on him, and I've never
Mhm.
had that with a mental health doctor, but he was like, I was like, "You know what? Alright." So I saw that, and then finally it helped me kinda open up, and then I made my page, and then people would ask me questions, and it's
Mhm.
like, for a while, I wouldn't answer them because 'cause I'd be like, "I don't know you. That's weird." But now
Mhm.
it's like when people ask me something, they're like, "Did you have to shave your head for brain surgery?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Can I see pictures or is that weird?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can see pictures, I don't care." You know?
Mhm. Mhm.
You get used to it after it
Yeah.
ta
True.
it's like when you rip the Band-Aid off, you get used to talking about it more and more and
Yeah,
more.
Yeah.
exactly. Exactly. And I've noticed that too, like just coming and creating a community and like finding you and Alec and like just meeting
Yeah.
all these people. It's like that really resonates. It's like you just keep openly talking about it, it keeps getting easier.
It's
Yeah.
so true. And Vanessa, actually, you made a comment, I forget if it was in our first episode or one of our recent, recordings, but you talked about how you sort of need people within the community because as much as you have a like, you may have a great support system, whether it be family, friends, whatever,
Mhm.
it's it's you can't entirely relate with someone who doesn't have epilepsy. So
Yeah.
you might have a loving spouse or family member, whatever, but unless they're also suffering seizures, you can't. It's hard. Like I know how much Britt understands what I'm going through, but at the same time, she's not living with epilepsy. So
Yeah.
Outside looking in, being
yeah,
supportive.
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
it's like I've always said, I think I've said it to Grace a couple times on our podcast, like,
Hmm.
we speak a different language when we have epilepsy. It's like you can just say like 3 words to somebody else that has epilepsy, and they get it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, you don't have to go into detail
Yeah.
about, like, "Oh, I had a seizure. My head feels like," "Well, how do you mean you feel off?" "Well, I just," it's like, "I feel off." You're like, "Okay, well, go rest because I
Yeah.
know what that
Mhm.
means."
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
You get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's, and you might not find, you're gonna find some idiots in the community. We've done it.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
won't lie.
Seriously.
There are
And you
some
just get that odd people, those like odd random people that you're like, okay, like just the negative and like
the
everything
ones
you
that
don't want to
pick
hear.
apart everything you do when they
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
really.
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's just like really like let's
Preach
be
your own page.
mature and learn, yeah, about everything. Block.
Seriously, but I mean, for the most part, I've met some amazing people. Like, I
Yes.
mean,
Mhm.
we've all met.
Yeah.
You know,
Uh,
it's like
Alec
miles
and
from
Britt are gonna
making.
come to the yeah, yeah. I was just saying, Alec and his fam are coming out west, and we're all gonna see Under the Lights.
there is
It's
no
gonna
Oh,
be
way I'm bringing the girls. Like, if there's an opportunity to like find a babysitter, like Britt and I are taking it. So,
yes.
like,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
I love the girls, but like, oh man,
Okay.
and
Well, it's still gonna happen.
it's like whatchamacallit, I'm only an hour from LA, so it's like if it shows here, we'll all meet up.
yes, yeah.
Yes.
So
That'd be
speaking
awesome.
speaking of obviously we are it's March, it's Epilepsy Awareness Month in Canada. We're fortunate with epilepsy that we have, I mean, it's again, we have one here and in the States. It's in
Hmm.
November. So I mean, in a weird way,
It's
it's kind of super cool to have kind of two different months that we get to sort of
Yes.
raise as much awareness as possible. But I know, Brie, like every single year you do stuff with SoCal Epilepsy. whether it be just, again, doing much more constant posts. But I know right now you're running a calendar, and just trying to get as many people to kind of engage, and not even just within Canada, but almost like in a global sense.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you haven't checked that out, whoever's listening, go to Bree's page because it is so cool to just, even if you want to do it for yourself and not do it publicly,
Mm-hmm.
it's really actually a lot of fun just to kind of go down that route and kind of, it's almost like a journal for yourself, which is super cool to have.
Yeah, because I
Very.
was looking. Yeah,
Oh,
I
sorry.
was
to cut you off.
sorry. Quick um thing I wanted to say is like I was looking through the days on your calendar, and there was such interesting ones that I would feel like I would never talk about.
Yeah.
Like it's just it's like, oh my gosh, like yeah, let's tackle into this side of like life with epilepsy, or like just to talk and raise awareness about it. So yeah, like Alex said, go check it out because it's pretty cool, because now you can see everybody else's like life with those different kind of things too.
Yes.
I've noticed
Yeah.
people get more open when they have like a prompt for some reason. Like some
Yeah,
people like,
yeah,
to open up. So I'm like, have fun with it. And it's
yeah,
everyone likes to do the the little photo, like add yours. I'm like, well, add yours, do it
Yeah.
this way.
yeah.
And hopefully this one or maybe November will be the only one that I can't give away prizes to. So we'll just say that. So if you complete them very soon, like you'll be getting some stuff.
That's awesome.
Nice.
hmm
Oh man.
I got
And I
tons of
noticed
Go
I
ahead.
noticed that you have some like, because both of our birthdays are in March. Sorry, Alec.
Yeah.
It's just the best month.
Mine's just before Halloween, so like, come on.
Okay.
You got
Okay,
Frank
fine.
Jr.
Yeah. Exactly. That's
Okay,
right.
true.
Same birthday.
Same
Frank.
month as Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah, that's true. Okay. We'll give you that. But on your calendar, I looked and I was like, ooh, what's on Bree's birthday? And like, what's on my birthday? Like on the calendar and make it extra fun.
Oh,
I
that's
was
so
just,
good.
yeah.
My birthday, I was just like, just put purple out there. I'm like, I'm tired. I just want to eat.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, seriously. Just
Getting
keep it
old.
easy. Wear the purple.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a purple theme next time then, if we're not like in our jerseys. We should just switch up the themes
I'm
every time.
100% down for that.
That'd be fun.
Purple stuff.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
could totally do that.
This might still have to dry here though, just to let you
Yeah.
know.
I know I might have more Habs merchandise just hanging. So
Stop. Oh my god, so bad.
Hey, they're supposed to help us out soon, or we're trying to get them to help us out soon. So
True.
oh, I don't want. Okay, yeah, I don't want to get into this, but that
Yes,
could be,
yes.
no,
if that is something, that would be like a pinnacle for me in my relationship
think I
with
would
epilepsy.
cry.
Right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Could you
We're
imagine
not
that
going to tell
being
you what, but we are all brainstorming on
No,
that.
no pun intended.
All pun intended.
Oh yeah.
I love that. That's awesome. But yeah, okay, so for people listening, you're just gonna have to wait to see in the next coming episode or whenever when we
Absolutely.
decide to talk about it, because it's just so cool.
This
so,
is your ... for that
yes,
one.
Yes,
exactly.
absolutely.
To be continued.
Yes. With the friends. We need Joey to do the introduction. I don't know what happened with that one either. Hang on, let me just go get Chandler.
I don't really
You
know what
guys,
this
You
means.
need to turn this podcast
I'm
off.
sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, that will always be embedded in my mind. It's
Oh
just
man.
like, oh,
If they don't get these references, this is not for you to listen to.
No,
Mm-mm.
that's fine.
you can just press stop right now.
Yeah. Well, again, we really want to thank Bree just for stopping by. This is she's just an amazing friend to both Vanessa and I. And if you don't already follow SoCal Epilepsy, I can't recommend it enough. Like, there's
Yes.
just a plethora of knowledge and
Thank
like
you.
witty stuff
Yes.
and just
Yeah.
everything. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like one of those accounts that should be in everyone's pocket to follow if you're
Yes, 100%.
even if you're not suffering from epilepsy, but if you want to just learn more, or if you know someone or loved one, whatever, with epilepsy,
Mhm.
it's yeah, I can't say enough great things about the page. So
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, this was awesome. And I'm so excited to do more. Like, me and Alec were talking about it, and we're like, oh, this is gonna be like a series. Like, it's
just
gonna
like
be
a playlist
yeah.
of Brie, like
You can skip over it if I blocked you.
yeah.
Oh no, it's gonna be great. I can't wait to like to like talk more about different kinds of stuff with you that like we've seen on your page, but like maybe not everybody is aware or like knows any of this. So yeah, it's been great. Woo, go Leafs, go. Sorry, I just had to end it like that.
It's not gonna end it like that. Your game's gonna end.
It's gonna end pretty quick. So
what's the score?
Go look. Go look.
Really? Stop. Oh no, I'm not
Bree's
looking.
happy. Yeah.
I'm gonna look when we end this.
That's so funny.
It's just my clothes of shame, like, what's it say? What is it?
Oh, 4-1. Oh.
So bad.
Oh man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man. I mean, I can't say anything right now because the Habs
No,
are
you cannot.
so bad.
Yeah.
But like,
Go draft pick, go.
oh man, I can't
It's
wait
okay.
for golf season. So
we still love you. It's okay.
yeah,
I miss the fun games against the Habs. I really do. They're my favorite.
those, yeah. All right, okay, we will.
We're gonna ask everybody to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes,
to
if you're
Brainstormers Podcast on YouTube.
And if you're on any audio stuff only, so like Spotify, please comment whatever you want, but follow along the journey. We have so much more in the pipeline just to kind of come out, more people to interview. Bree will likely be here again a dozen times.
We've
So
established that.
I love you guys. So thank you.
Awesome. Okay, we'll chat soon, guys.
Okay. Have a good night.
You too.